All right, guys, so welcome back to the shop. I'm out here working on Dad's car again. If you're not familiar with this car, it's an '89 IROC with a 5.3 that I swapped in years ago, but I'm giving it a complete revamp. Did cam and cylinder heads, intake, and new exhaust system, torque converter. While you were gone, I got a lot of I guess the ancillary stuff. Got the intake manifolds all bolted down. Got the water pump on it, the valve, power steering pump, all that stuff. I got a brand new fresh radiator in it. This thing struggled with cooling. I mean, even on like a 50-degree day, it would get up around 180, 190. So fresh water pump, fresh cooling system entirely. So I'm hoping that that whatever was ailing us there is going to be fixed. Anyways, we're going to hop in and get the headers in. Well, actually, you can see they're already in, but we're going to get the V-bands on because the ball and socket style collector that comes on these Hedman Hedders really kind of blows. They tend to leak, and they tend to they tend to get loose. So we're going to put some V-bands on it, and we're going to build a Y pipe. It's going to go back to the existing 3-inch single MagnaFlow exhaust system. So let's go ahead and get into it, guys. Got a lot of work to do. Right away, I get the headers back off, the original flanges cut off, but not without tripping over the mess in the shop. So I take 30 seconds to get this piled up and out of the way. I grab the headers out and clean up the collectors with acetone and tack weld some fresh V-bands on the headers. These headers are uncoated mild steel, so they have an oil on them that keeps from corroding while sitting on the shelf. The V-bands are stainless, and I should be using an E309 rod, but I don't have any. And while it's not good practice to use standard mild steel filler rod, I've never had a problem. All right, getting the first look at where these V-bands are going to fall. Okay, this line is actually going to get tucked over there. And then, all right, that's going to work. And so is that. So we'll kind of kick this over here and hug along here to get it away from the linkage. So I should probably throw this in there so we know where it's at. Yep, so I'll put that on. And here, hold on a second. Okay, I reclocked that V-band so you can see it's got plenty of clearance, and it looks like it's going to be really serviceable. So that's our starting point. So we'll build a Y pipe, go back to this exhaust system here. It's a 3-inch single MagnaFlow, and it's got a cutout. After welding the reducers to the V-bands, I realized they were way too long, like unusably long. So off the car they came to get redone. That's part of building cars though. You can't expect everything to just fall together when you're asking a bunch of parts from different companies to work in harmony. Before trimming the beat up legs off the old Y pipe, I held it up to the new setup to see where I wanted the collector to fall. I really like these Flowmaster Y collectors and have been using them for literally decades now. Once that's out of the way, the new Y pipe falls together quickly. I got the new transmission lines tied up properly with a nylon P-clamp and a machine screw, then laid out the new primaries, making sure I had ample clearance to all surrounding components, while also tucking up as much as possible so as not to drag the new Y pipe on the ground. For those wondering, I'm doing 2.5-inch primaries into a single 3-inch collector on the Y pipe. There's actually a cutout right behind the Y collector in case Dad decides he needs to be extra rowdy. But this sizing should work really well for the power level that we're shooting for. All right, well, we got the Y pipe all built and looks like it goes back in the spot kind of like how we had it. So that's it. It seems pretty good. It's tucked up. I would say maybe a little bit better than the previous one, but I'll be honest, I really wanted to send the exhaust out the stock routing, but it'll be good enough. Okay, so our next step be to get oxygen sensor for the terminator in, and there's a couple of, well, there's really one rule when it comes to the oxygen sensor, and that is that you don't want it to be less than like 90 degrees to the ground or whatever. So really, ideally, pointing up, and that's so that moisture doesn't collect on the sensor and potentially burn it out. So, but we're gonna see if we can't. The other I guess suggested rule for this is that it go on the driver's side, but that's just mainly because that's how it's labeled in the Terminator. But it really doesn't matter. All it's looking for is a signal. Now, if you eventually went and expanded to you know, running both banks or something like that, that will be a different story. You want to make sure that left is on left and right is on right. So, but I think I'm going to stick it over here because there's space to, and just here we'll put our weld bung in up here. I'll make a couple marks. Then we'll punch a hole in it. Well, we gotta take it back off, punch a hole in it, and then weld her up. So I'd say that looks pretty good. Well, guys, I think that's going to do it for this installment. We got the Hedman Hedders, the shorties, I guess, mid-length, if you want to call them that, headers installed. I'll be honest, I don't know if these are my favorite, but they seem to fit okay now. I did have to ding that number 4 primary to get it in, which it's kind of funny because you had to ding the small block Chevrolet Hedman Hedders as well. I think it was number 3 or number 5 primary. Anyways, just, you know, like, it's kind of part of hot rodding, but at the same time, like, we've been doing this long enough now, companies, like, we know what's going on. There's no reason that it shouldn't have fit. But at any rate, got the V-bands on, and we got the Y pipe built along with that oxygen sensor bung. So I think next time we'll get into the Terminator X. I was hoping maybe that we would get into it now, but I really feel like wiring is its own video. So thanks so much for coming along, guys. I'm really excited about getting this thing fired up soon. So I hope you come back and check it out. Bye-bye.